Hey everybody, this is James Pelton coming to you today with a new NFT. So these are always exciting for me. Again, I've been scouring the world, the internet, looking for passive income plays that we can all get into together as a community, and then be building NFTs to help us get into them, making access into them a little bit easier. So this is Moses, and I'm gonna have him introduce himself here in a minute. Actually, me and Moses were part of an alpha group. So back in the bull run, we were doing crazy stuff. There was alpha going out every day. In the bear market, the alpha has been less and fewer and far between. But Moses was talking about wanting some funding for his Amazon store. And I said, hey, this could potentially be, he talked with me, and we'll go through this. He talked with me about how his Amazon store was doing. And I said, hey, this could potentially be a great opportunity for an NFT collection. So we put together some numbers, little presentation. So we'll go through that. I was telling Moses, I had coffee this morning that went straight into a meeting, that went straight into this. So you get unshaved, unshowered, raw, and uncensored James Pelton today. So hope you enjoy it. But we'll go through some things. If you have questions as we're going, let me know, and we will bring up those questions. So that's what we're here for. So Moses, welcome. Thank you for coming on today. Can you start out with a quick introduction of yourself, and then we will jump into these NFTs?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's nice to finally be partnering with you on something after, you know, being in those groups for so long. Yeah. So my name is Moses Forge, and I've been selling on Amazon and Walmart for about 3.5 years. It's my main source of income, and what I'm, partnering with James to do is, basically raise some capital to buy more inventory and scale my business from the seven-figure years that I'm having right now up to the next level and try to get to 8 and 9 figures.
Okay, very good. Love it. And we'll go through some of the numbers, how the Amazon store is doing, and all that. Wanted to give a couple welcomes. First off, Elevation Bible Church TV. Thank you for joining the community. Great having you. Richard, good to see you. PTK. Richie, keep those passive income NFTs coming. So, yeah, good to see you. Dustin, History Bear, Adam, great to see all of you. Appreciate you guys being here as we go through this. McFly says greasy JP. Yeah, I can kind of see it on my face a little bit. It actually kind of grossed me out a little bit, but it sounds exciting from Yabonks, which go follow Yabonks on YouTube if you don't already. So let's go ahead. Let's just go through. We have this pitch deck, kind of talking about the details, but let's talk through kind of your Amazon store and how it's been doing. And then we'll talk about the opportunity for investors. So buyrise.com, that is your, there is no buyrise.com yet, correct?
Yeah.
That's coming.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the rebrand that I recently did. My previous, my LLC is Raccoon Capitalist LLC, but now that I want to go direct to consumer and I'm trying to scale up, nobody can spell raccoon and nobody can spell capitalist. So we're rebranding, right? And so this is the working logo. It's going to change a little bit to be less copyright infringy, obviously, but this is kind of the markup. And then we will have buyrise.com that'll be direct to consumer, and then it'll have basically outreach for brands who want to partner with us on Amazon.
Okay, very good. So buyrise.com. And then go ahead and tell us about how your store has been doing so far.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been doing this for about 3.5 years. I actually started this business while I was in medical school to make a little bit of extra money, because I don't know if you know this, but they don't pay medical students. So
Oh
I
my
was
goodness.
doing this. I was doing this as kind of a side hustle, so I could have some income. And then when the lockdowns hit in 2020, there was just this huge opportunity to step into like full time kind of online reselling. And in my first year in 2020, I sold $3.3 million in merchandise, right? So that puts me, those seven-figure years puts me in the top 3.5% of Amazon sellers. I'm also selling on Walmart. I'm selling on eBay, and then I'm going to have that direct-to-consumer site um, up when the time is right, and I can do it really well. We've done 6.6 million in sales since 2020, and that is with kind of taking most of 2022 off. I did a lot of traveling. I was kind of focus on crypto a little bit. And then starting back in October, we've already done 600,000 or 700,000 in sales. So we're gonna definitely hit a mid seven, like probably above seven figures this year.
That's incredible, incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could probably also do like a training course on how to get, how to grow stores to this level.
Yeah, so I mean, I've thought about it. It's not really where I want to be. I would rather just be in my store. The income, but it's always, there's enough people selling courses, right? You can go buy an Amazon course.
True.
But
Very true.
yeah, so yeah, aiming for 10 million a year by 2025. And so yeah, I saw a comment popped up. I actually dropped out of medical school for this back in at the end of 2021. So this is no longer a side hustle for me, right? This is my full-time gig. I'm invested in this completely. Um,
Amazing. Yeah. Well, doctors, I don't think make 10 million a year. So
no, they don't.
I guess it depends what kind of doctor.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Tell us about these are numbers that might not mean a lot to non-Amazon people, but kind of tell us what some of
Yeah.
these numbers mean for your store.
Sure. I'm sure everyone knows that Amazon is the biggest player in e-commerce around, right? They do $500 billion in sales per year. Last year, they did 514 billion. What a lot of people don't know is that 60% of those sales come from people like me, right? So it's all like 308 billion of that is from third-party sellers, right? And Amazon takes a cut. They take 15% off the top of all of that. So there's a huge the pie that I'm going for here when I say I want to do 10, 20 million in sales is enormous. Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Very
I'm
good.
I'm looking, yeah, I'm looking for something like 0.006% of their of all of the third party retail sales.
Okay. Very good. And then, yeah, I like the warehouse over there. All right. Next
Yeah.
slide here. Okay.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Nope. Go ahead. Tell us about all the different things that you're doing.
Yeah, so these are kind of the four, I guess, prongs of attack that I approach my business from. So I do online arbitrage, which is buying clearance or deep discounted items from retailers, just reselling it at full price. I think a lot of people are familiar with that. I also source from wholesale suppliers, right, and just make big purchase orders. And then the two things that I'm kind of moving into to get me to the next level are brand partnerships and private labeling, right? So private labeling, everyone I think is kind of familiar with. You are just going to a supplier or a manufacturer, customizing a product, putting your own brand on it, and creating advertising, selling it to the consumer. I like Anker is one of my favorite like charger and battery brands, and they started out on Amazon as a private label
Oh, very cool.
business. Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
then there are brands like Buc-ee's, right? I don't know if you guys know Buc-ee's or if you guys are in the South, but this is a huge brand that doesn't sell online at all, right? So we can go to brands like this, tell them, hey, listen, I want to sell your stuff on Amazon. It's the largest marketplace. You don't have to do anything. Just give me the exclusive, right? I'll cut big orders and help you grow online.
okay, very good. And are you doing Walmart also, or are you doing exclusively Amazon?
No, I sell on Walmart as well. So for example, there's a lot of things that you can do. Like I spent about $70,000 buying coffee makers from Walmart this year that I turn around and sold back on Walmart for double the price. Um, yeah.
Okay, there's that arbitrage right there.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, go ahead and tell us about the terms that you're thinking.
Yeah, so this is basically a 3-year like opportunity, right? And there's a 50-50 profit share on, I guess, all of the money that comes in. So what I want to do is I want to take the money that comes into the business, spend it exclusively on inventory, and then offer a 50-50 profit share off of the money that's generated from that. That profit's going to get paid out quarterly. And runs, we're aiming for a 20% return on our assets every quarter minimum. I think, we're aiming for higher, but, we'd like to under promise and over deliver. So that
Yeah.
means for the person buying the NFT, that means it looks something like a 10% return per quarter. for 3 years for 12 consecutive quarters.
Correct. Yeah. So so this is the pitch deck that we would usually use with normal investors. So again, 10K minimum investment. So if you have 10K and you want to go do this, you can go approach Moses. And you could do this without the NFT, honestly. But again, I understand that there's not a ton of people, especially with how long we've all been in the markets, that have $10,000 sitting around. So that's where we broke this 10K down and said, hey, let's get this NFT collection so people can get in for $500 and get the same type of results. But Moses is he's looking to raise a total of 500K. We're just going to do 50K as this NFT collection. Again, if it goes well and if everybody's liking it, we may extend that. We may do more with it going forward. But that's kind of the plan. And so, yeah, it's for 3 years. So when you buy one of these NFTs, and I'll show you the website, which will, this is the website where you can mint. But it's going to be a 3 years where we're aiming for 20% a quarter. Is kind of what we're aiming at. And then it's going to be paid out quarterly. We're not going to do a DApp for now. We're just going to airdrop the actual results. So each quarter, we decided we're going to end. This quarter is going to start August 1st. So then your first payout would be August, September, October, November 1st. You'll just get an airdrop of USDC in your Polygon wallet. That's what you're minting with, is USDC on Polygon. And then that's what your airdrop will be received in. So I just want to keep it, you guys know me, I like to keep things as simple as possible. As soon as it gets complicated, I'm out, because I just got too much stuff going on to deal with that. So it's going to be minting. We'll put the money in, and then November 1st, you'll get your first airdrop. Again, it may be more or less, depending on how things go. But that's kind of what we're aiming out. Go ahead and tell us about what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so like James said, this is for usually for a single investor, but these are kind of what the numbers look like based on a 30%. So this is more than we've projected for the NFT, but a 30% return on assets per quarter, split 50-50, right? So 25,000, for example, if you wanted to go buy half the NFTs, you could do that, and the
sure.
payouts quarterly would look like 37.50 per quarter.
Yep.
And that's with the 30% projected. Now, like James said, that could be higher, could be lower, but it's real numbers, right? So if we have a great quarter, you get more. If it's more lean, you get less. But this is based on, the past 3 quarters in the business, right? Is where I got these numbers from. So these aren't just kind of plucked out of thin air.
Okay, very cool. And we'll probably have, for those who mint, we'll probably have you back on maybe once a month, just to kind of a quick update of, hey, how's the store doing for this quarter so far. Yabank says 10K to be a private investor. I was gonna say private investigator. That's not right. Is a little out of my price range. I'm glad DeFi exists. Yeah, totally. That's what I would like to do. No compounding. Correct. That's I don't want to allow any compounding. The numbers just get too confusing. So it's just going to be, you buy as many NFTs as you want, and you're just going to get an airdrop based on the number of NFTs. If we do some kind of compounding in the future, it will just be buy more NFTs for a future batch that we may do. But again, I like to do a test batch just to make sure we have everything, all the wrinkles ironed out, make sure it's working well. That's kind of what we're thinking. Appreciate the usage of Polygon, low gas fees. Correct. Yep, I agreed. Is the money locked for the term of payouts? I think that is 3 years. So that is something we haven't talked about, is the initial capital at the end of 3 years. Do you have thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the initial capital would stay in the business, right? So you're looking at, if you look at the slide, so after 3 years on this, you're looking at 180% return. And the initial capital stays, right? So there won't be like a lump sum or return of the initial capital at the end.
Okay. Yep. So again, and some of you might look at this and say, "Oh, these are such low DeFi." Some of us in DeFi are used to our 25% or a month, or all the crazy numbers that we have. But what I like about this is it's real revenue coming in. It's real sales. It's a real business. This is not DeFi where hey, your money is going to magically disappear and then there's no more returns coming out. This is an Amazon business. So if you're wanting 26% a month, this is not going to be the right thing for you. If you're wanting something that can reliably pay for the next 3 years, then this might be more down your wheelhouse. So it's not for everyone. I'll say that. If you're DGen, this might not be for you as much.
Yeah, this is definitely not a degen play. So these next three slides don't apply to this. This is for one-on-ones. There's some additional things like you asked about compounding. We're not going to mess with it. Quick bio, if you are interested in this is pictures of my son. This is me in medical school.
You
Just
look so smart.
right. Yeah. With the glasses. Absolutely. And the coat, it does wonders. So here's a couple of examples of the things that I purchase. Right. So like James just said, this is not a degen play. The chances that this money disappears are incredibly low. I've been doing this for 3.5 years. I'm not going to say that there is no chance. There might be like a meteor might fall on the warehouse and the insurance might not cover it. Right. I don't know. But I can say this, and that is I haven't ever had a losing quarter with this business. It's very simple, and the way that we source our products, the way I choose things to sell, is very methodical. And if I ever do lose money on a buy, it's very minimal, right? And it's accounted for through other things that I purchase at the same time, right? So here are two kind of big wins that we've had this past quarter, right? I mentioned coffee machines, these Keurigs. I bought these for $100 on Walmart. I've spent probably $70,000 on them. Right now, I'm selling these for $195 on Walmart.com. I'm making 60%, all day on them. They sell 3, 4, 5 a day, right? And it's just a steady kind of steady income for me. This is one of the more this is like a more steady, slower moving, high profit item that I might buy, right? And then here is an example of a wholesale deal that we got, right? So I was able to get these snail mucin serums, right? I guess is super popular. It's a K beauty product, right?
Hmm.
So these sell 80,000 units a month on Amazon. It's, kind of mind boggling, honestly, when you think about it. I was able to get my hands on 500 with the capital I had on time. If I had had more capital, I could have bought, you know, 2 to 10,000 of them, right? I sold all of these within 36 hours and I made around 30% just like that. So this is the kind of stuff we're buying and selling. It's quick moving, it's brand name, slam dunk products. I don't take a lot of risks on things that may or may not sell. I use my capital wisely and just make sure I turn a profit.
Yep, absolutely. And
Yeah.
when you watch Shark Tank, who in the audience has watched Shark Tank? But what they're always looking for on Shark Tank are existing companies that just need capital to scale. That's basically all that those are the best companies that they're looking for on Shark Tank is everything's already in place. They don't need to adjust anything. They just need more capital to scale. And to me, when I was been talking with Moses, I think that's the case with this is like he said, if he had more capital on hand, these would have sold as many as you bought would have sold. So it's just a matter of how much capital do you have on hand to be able to buy that. And so that's where, it makes sense to raise this. And that actually answers what inspired Moses to start this project. What's the why behind it?
Yeah.
Maybe we could ask you why do you want to scale? That's a good question.
Sure. Yeah. So go ahead and flip back to the bio because really it all comes back to my son. So my son was diagnosed with autism when he was 2 years old. Before then, I was kind of just bartending, hanging out. I've never been one to care much about money until he got his autism diagnosis, and I realized, hey, I might have to not only handle paying for myself for the rest of my life, but now I gotta have enough money that I'm paying for him for the rest of his life because he's probably going to be dependent on us, me and his mom for forever, right? So when that starts coming into play and you start thinking, okay, not only do I need several $1,000,000 for myself to retire, now I probably need, 2 to 5 million for him to live the rest of his life and be taken care of. Now I got to start thinking bigger, right? And so I could scale this business to 8 figures myself within a few years, right? I have access to a few $100,000, right? But if I can get access to that other 500 that I mentioned, and now I've got 700,000 uh, to play with and utilize, I can get to 8 figures in 2 years, right? Instead of 6 years. Okay. And then from there on, it's, there's no telling what can happen. So I'm looking to put my head down for, 40 to 80 hours a week for the next 3 years and take this business, to the next level. Maybe sell it. I don't know what I'll do after I'm there, but this is why I'm doing it basically. I need to be sure that this kid's taken care of.
Yep. Nope. That makes a lot of sense. So totally agree. And when there's an opportunity, the entrepreneur in me, when there's an
Yeah.
opportunity, you want to, I don't know, I look at it as like a sponge full of water and you want to squeeze it for as much as you can, not in a greedy way, like you were saying, but it's just like, if there's an opportunity there, there's so many people in the world that have a hard time making money, really struggling with their finances, that if I see an opportunity, I don't feel right unless I squeeze it for like, hey, let's get as much out of this opportunity as we can. And I mean, call that entrepreneurial spirit or what have you. But I always want to, if I see, man, we could have made an extra, 100K if we had had a little bit more capital on that serum. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
then that bugs me and makes me want to help move that forward. So
Yeah, and if I can help other people make money doing it in the meantime, like I'm all for it. All of my investors are friends and family. Like everyone, because I'm talking about the kind of ROI. Like I'm paying a lot for this money, right? 80% over, or what am I paying? Like 15% a quarter is a lot to pay for money, right? And but if it's not going to a bank and it's going into like an individual's pocket, it feels okay, right? And I'm making great money off it too. Every time I'm paying somebody out, I'm keeping the same amount, right? Because it's a 50-50 split. So I'm making, good money off of it. It makes sense to me. And I get to feel good that not only, my friends, family, and then anybody who, in the community who believed in the project can also make a little money. Also, just with DeFi and NFTs, I think we've all had enough of the Ponzi's. So this is nice to have
yeah.
a revenue producing business that, hey, like this money isn't disappear like coming out of nowhere, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I know people are taking $500 and putting it into, Joe Schmo Capital with
Yeah.
the trading bots that make 2% a day. And I just want to provide. That's fine if people want to do that. I've gone through my degen phase and I've lost enough money in it where I'm kind of like, I'm just not super interested. I'll still play around with some degen things once in a while, but I'm just not that interested in it. And we've both been there. Someone
Oh
just
yeah.
asked, "How did you and James meet?" It was in that alpha group where we were doing degen plays. We had a calendar basically of like what projects are launching today to make sure we got in early because we found, okay, you can get in early, it's going to pump, then you can exit, and then it's going to dump. And we were
Yeah.
basically had a schedule that we were going through. So, but no more. Those days are
No.
over.
That's what I was doing in 2022 when I wasn't working on this business. I was, traveling and trading crypto from my laptop, which was enough to survive. And I mean, I guess I came out on top, but ultimately it felt like a lot of spinning wheels because this stuff is, a lot of it isn't solid. So this is a solid thing that I know that I can go put my sweat into. And at the end of the day, I'm going to have something.
Yep. Yep. You have
Yeah.
more control over it. Any front end fee on the initial 500? So yes. So Greedy James is, of course, I mean, taking a little bit. I mean, my team is putting together the NFT and putting together the website, and we'll be handling the airdrops. Basically, we just want Moses to go focus on what he's good at, which is the Amazon side. And then pretty much we're acting as like there's one investor putting in 50K. So he's not going to deal with you guys individually, really. It's going to kind of just be between me and him. And then I'll make sure the airdrops get out. So I do take, let's see, 3.5% upfront, and then 5% of the, not monthly, but the quarterly the total quarterly payout that goes to you guys. So it's not going to end up being a ton, but enough to at least pay my team to make that happen. But most of it's going to go straight into the store. So
Exactly. And I'm paying James's monthly out of my cut. So
right. Correct. Yes.
yes, the NFT owner gets their 50%. So a little bit off the top, and then I'm paying James out of my cut. Obviously for all of the help in the platform, it's worth it 1,000%. So
awesome.
yeah.
All right. Tell us what's going on this right here.
Those numbers are not updated. Those are just Amazon's numbers. So if you just want to see some quick P&Ls, this is kind of a typical quarter for me. This is Q4 where I was actively spending all of the capital that I had on inventory and just churning, right? So I started this quarter with about $60,000. It's what I had kind of after all of the crypto stuff was done, right? I was like, okay, I'm going to take this 60 grand. We're going to go back to Amazon and get this business running again. So, yeah, I had about 60K and I made about 30 off of that 60. So granted, this was Q4, a lot of sales, but honestly, it's pretty typical for stuff to look like this. And so the return on assets for that quarter was about 50%, right? The way we're calculating that is just total assets in the company. That's cash on hand, that's inventory minus any balances. All of our inventory is purchased on credit cards because we churn points and stuff, right? So minus credit card balances, that's the starting assets for the quarter, and then we just look at the assets at the end of the quarter, right? And then however much it's grown, that's what that's the number we use to calculate the percentage and the split.
Okay.
So yeah, there you go. That's kind of the average quarter for you. And then I think that's about it for the slide deck.
Okay. Perfect.
There's one more, but it's kind of these are incomplete quarters, and they're not. I would say they're not typical because there have been times over the last few months that I've sat on capital and not spent it so that I can leverage like higher credit limits and stuff. So which has actually worked out because I got a surprise $100,000 line of credit yesterday. So
there you go. And for
I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, for Amazon sellers, a line of credit is like the gold mine. That's what whenever you deal with, like I do some done for you Amazon stores and things like that, their first question is always, how much capital or credit do you have access to? That's always their first question. Let's go over to the website then. So this is AmazonEmpires.com, which is actually cool. I didn't figure that domain name would be available, but it is. But AmazonEmpires.com, profit sharing with the leading Amazon seller. It has kind of just some of the info that we've talked about. This is what the NFT looks like. So a little Amazon Empires. Tycho, you guys know Tycho. I don't know if he's here in the comments, but he kind of put this together. I think he used Mid-Journey, or I'm sure he didn't draw that himself. But it looks pretty cool, I think. But this is not a art NFT. That's not the purpose of it. It's a utility NFT. I would have been okay if it was just like the letter A or something like that. I'm an engineer. I just want my money back. I just want to make my money, but it is kind of cool. So this will get minted against 500 USDC on Polygon. We don't currently have the mint with credit card turned on. I want to see if we can get it minted out without that. We're only doing 100 in this first batch. If we have trouble selling, then maybe I'll turn on the mint with credit card. It just adds a layer of complexity. And with the way my life is organized, keeping things at just the lowest complexity, you guys know me, but that's like a necessity for me. So you can mint this now. It is live now. We'll probably give it, I'll probably give just this video a couple weeks. Then I might do like a dedicated video. Those get more traction where I'll just kind of sum up, hey, here's the opportunity. I'm probably not going to put this on Twitter and things like that. So you that are in my community will kind of have first dibs for that. Tycho is here. So thank you, Tycho, for your help. He's amazing. Thank you for your help getting all this together. So you can mint this now. Then on the website too, there's just some of the information that we talked about here today. So yeah, we have a contract set up between me and Moses as a business loan, essentially, is kind of how it's going to work. But you guys, again, my goal is for you guys to not have to worry about that side of things, is kind of the goal here. So yeah, and just more info here. So calls to action for you guys. If you would like, if you have more questions, feel free to hop into my Telegram, hop into my Discord. We can probably, Moses, we'll get you in somewhere to answer questions if people have those, or if you have any now, then we can go through those quickly. But you can go ahead and mint. And again, we're just going to do this first 100, see how they go. And then maybe we'll open it up more after that. But I always like to start with a proof of concept, and then, kind of go from there. So what questions do you guys have for either me or Moses as we're getting going, as we're wrapping up here? Any idea what the NFTs will look like? Yeah, so I get, we answered that for you. You don't get your initial funds back after 3 years. Is that correct? That's correct. So those funds are going to be used in the business. So this is not like a loan. That would be kind of a very high interest loan to pay that amount. So no. Let's see. Why did Amazon's sales decline from 3 million in 2020 to 260K in 2022?
Yeah. So after, so I was running this business while I was in medical school with my ex-wife, actually. And so in 2021, about halfway through, we ended up divorcing, and she left the business, which left me trying to run the business full time and going to medical school full time. So I wasn't really ready to make the decision to drop medical school yet. So I scaled the business way back. Went to where I was just selling kind of a little bit, right, on the side, and took my board exams. I finished my board exams in medical school. After that, I decided, hey, like, I want to spend more time with my son. I want to go back to Amazon, and do crypto. At the time, I was doing a lot of crypto still. So I dropped out of medical school in December 2021. Did crypto for a few months, like 5-6 months, and then once we had that apocalypse, I decided, hey, it's time to go back to Amazon, right? And that's when I started back in October. And since October, I've scaled from, as you can see, I think October I sold maybe 20,000, and now I'm throwing up, $120,000 months right now. And with this capital injection, I mean, I've got everything I need. I'm working out of a warehouse. I have a 3,000 square foot warehouse here in Garland, Texas, that I'm operating out of. I've got contractors that help me pack and prep. I've got everything I need. I just need more money to buy more inventory. And as soon as that comes in, it will be back up to, so the numbers that I've got so far, right, is I've got 300,000 without this NFT project. I have 300,000 committed that wires are coming in for, right? Contracts are signed, wires are coming in. I just got another $100,000 line of credit through an Amazon seller funding source. So I've got 400K now that's going to start being spent. And if that's turned quarterly for 30%, like, we're going to hit 2-3 million this year, probably, right? And we'll be back on track. So I know it looks weird, right, to have those high numbers, like, 3 million, 2 million, and then 260K, right? But that's why, is that I just was not actively working in the business.
Okay. Yep. Nope. That totally makes sense. Thanks for bringing a new project to us. You are welcome, Chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope it's successful for you guys. Again, goal is just, we want to help people, reach. My number one goal is, if people don't like their 9 to 5, 8 to 5, or sometimes it can be a 7 to 6 or something like that. I want to help provide opportunities where you can start working towards either working less or eventually, quitting and doing something completely else. So passive income can be a big part of that journey. So let's see, I may have missed the ROI. So we're aiming at, it'd be 20 to 40% total per quarter, which would be split 50-50 with you guys. So if we make 20%, then you would get 10% a quarter. 40%, you would get whatever 20 divided by 3 is, which it's not going to be an even number, but we'll work that out. 15% would be 5% per month. And then again, just once a quarter, we're just going to airdrop out that 50% of the profit with you guys. So, and aiming 20 to 40%. It could potentially be higher. It could be lower. But this just based on the last 6 months or so, the 20 to
Yeah.
40 seems to be about the number.
Yeah. So the last 3 quarters, I've put up on average that 30%. And I think it's going to go higher because, like I said, I've been sitting on capital. There are 2 complete months that I sat on capital to leverage for higher credit. So I really think it's going to be a lot higher. I think 20% is incredibly conservative, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I don't want to promise anything.
Okay. Very good. Any more questions before we kind of wrap up here? My hours are 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. Ooh, that's
Oh
even.
my.
I'm sorry, man. Let's work.
Yeah.
Let's work on getting you out of that. Let's work on getting you out of that. Unless you really enjoy it. If you really enjoy it, then that's fine. Will we be getting equity of the company? No. Correct.
Yeah, so there's no equity. This is not like a typical startup where you're looking at like, hey, we need to this money because we're not producing revenue. We need to make hires and stuff. Like I said, I can get to where I need at this point eventually. I just want to get there faster, right? So there is no equity share in the company um, for this.
Okay, and you're not. If somebody came and offered you
Yeah,
100 million here in the next year and a half,
yeah.
you would just pay out what had been originally. You would just probably take that out of the sale, or how would you handle that? Do you think?
If they gave me 100 million, I would give them equity.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
But for 50,000, I feel like the amount of equity I'd be willing to get for that is probably too low uh to matter to someone, right? So I feel like this setup allows people to, you know, get an easy kind of 80% on their money. Like it's bread and butter. You don't have to worry about it. You're not going to have to like bite your nails and wonder if this business is going to be around in 3 years, right? This is not like a node, right? That we all have. I have nodes that are there, right? This is not one of those scenarios. So this is just something you want to buy, you want to, check up on it once a quarter and get some money. You'll ROI in like 6 or 7 quarters, and then after that, you've just got money coming in. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and wrap up there. If you guys have more questions you want to ask, feel free to hop into my Discord or my Telegram or get in touch with me, and I'll get you in touch with Moses if I don't know the answer. Me and Moses
Yeah.
have talked enough where I feel like I have the answer to most of these, but just, kind of let me know. Let's see. Oh, what's the estimated profits in dollars per quarter per NFT? So if we're looking at $500 for the NFT, if we're able to get, if he's able to get 40%, then that would be $100 per quarter per NFT. And then obviously, so you can kind of do the math yourself if you want to. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah.
The average return per month is 3% for us. That's 15% for 500. Is that correct? Yeah. If he does 30, or if he does 20%, wait, now I'm getting confused by
Yeah.
my own numbers. Yes.
Yeah, breaking it down monthly is kind of rough because so the way that the inventory turns is it takes 45 to 60 days to turn inventory, which is why it's calculated quarterly, right? Doing monthly payouts on something like this just doesn't really make a lot of sense. So if you just want to think about it quarterly and divide by 3, that's the easier way to go. You would, make basically 10, estimating or projecting, I guess, 10 to 20% on your money per quarter.
Yep. 10 to
It's safe to say.
20% per quarter. Then you can
Yeah.
divide by 3. So it's two. I haven't even had my morning coffee yet, really. So
Yeah.
I can't. You don't expect me to do some math. Look at my hair. Does this look like the hair of somebody who can do math?
Yeah.
If the new products take a few months to generate profit, require initial investment, how will the profit sharing be handled if no profits are made initially? And that's why we're starting August 1st rather
Yeah.
than we right before this call, we said, let's start July 1st. And then Moses said, no, hey, let's give 30 days to get the capital working first. So
Yes.
August 1st will be the official start date of when we're start the quarter for the first quarter. So
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, the like I said, the stuff I buy, even if it takes 90 days to turn, and I'm aiming for like a 30% return on that inventory, that'll still be 30% 1 quarter. But normally the products I go for, like I said, 45 to 60 days. So It's safe to say that if I have that 1 month spin up, quote unquote, spin up period to spend that money effectively before the clock starts, then I'll be able to, hit those numbers reliably.
Yep, absolutely. And all the links are down below. So yeah, AmazonEmpires.com is really all you need to kind of know about. Richie says the messy looking hair is the in right now. Hey, good. I'm so hip. Yeah, Moses too. We're all hip. So we'll go ahead and wrap up there. Again, I'll do a dedicated video depending on how the mint goes. But first off, I want to thank you, audience. Thank you guys for indulging me on all of I love this, like creating passive income plays and putting together. I know there's people that have some money, and there's people who can use money to make more money. And so it's like, hey, let's just get together, and together, team, together, everyone achieves more, right? That's what we say. So thank you guys. Please hit like on the way out. And Moses, thank you for, just bringing this to my attention. I think this started out, you just reached out to me and said, hey, do you have any ideas of where to get more capital to scale my business?
Yeah.
And I was like, I do actually have an idea. So that's amazing. So thank you, Moses, for doing that. Thanks for letting us be a part of this journey, and look forward to, we'll be in touch, and we'll be having you back on.
Absolutely. I can't wait to talk to you guys more about it. And like James said, reach out to me on Discord. He can hook us up. I'll probably get in the Discord and the Telegram just to hang out and answer questions if need be. And thanks for having me.
Awesome. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.